Welcome to another episode of the Reboot Chronicles, a no-holds-barred forum with global leaders, authors, entrepreneurs, and CEOs about how organizations stay focused on growth and innovation in unprecedented times. I'm your host, Dean DeBiase, coming to you live from Reviv's North American headquarters in Chicago, and we would like to thank you for joining us from around the globe today. Today we have the founder of Credo, Annie Jackson, and their CEO, Don Dobra, to discuss how they built the largest clean beauty retailer who partners with over 130 brands run by what they call badass women, and why consumers are switching to clean products and retail experiences that are a lot better and a lot more fun. But first, I thought I'd start out with some data, rather disparate data, quite frankly, just to show you what the confusion and some of the things that are going on in the clean space. So to start out, nearly 50% of women are using clean beauty products in a Harper Bazaar poll. According to global data, 66% of consumers associate organic and natural while talking about high quality personal care products. And 59% would pay more for better quality skincare and makeup products. 68% are influenced by health and wellness propositions in cosmetics. And according to NPD, clean makeup is about 13% of high-end skincare right now. That's pretty consistent with what we're seeing in the Reviv platform through retail and brand partners around the world. And 50% of women are looking for skincare products that are made with organic ingredients. And lastly, within the $19 billion prestige beauty market in 2019, skincare brands positioned as natural were up 14%, and ones that position themselves as clean brands jumped a whopping 39%. Okay, welcome, Annie and Dawn. I know that was a lot of disparate data. We'll get into that in a minute, but kind of tell us how Credo got started. Give us the story.
Sure, I can take that one. We started the company in 2015. We're based in San Francisco, and so we wanted our first store obviously to be in San Francisco, so it could be in our backyard and we could spend a lot of time in the store. And myself and Shashi Batra, whom we lost to cancer in 2017, unfortunately started Credo. And he and I had worked in beauty for over 20 years with bigger companies. And one of those was Sephora, and being part of the founding team with Sephora here in the US. And I think that was really one part of the catalyst for us in starting Credo, is that we knew brick and mortar stores very well. We were lifelong retailers and merchants in beauty. And so we knew that this was something, that ingrained in us and that we could do really well. What we were most intrigued by, and was really the vision of Shashi's, was he was very inspired by the organic food movement from, 15, 18 years ago. And really people putting together, really being very conscientious about what they're eating and really understanding chemicals and processed food and all of that. And now starting to kind of put that last spoke in the wheel of their personal care routines, and really starting to look into what was in the products, 14, 15, 20 products that people use every day, whether it's toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, mascara, and not having a lot of transparency about what's in those products. And, for us, it was an incredibly great challenge to, not make this a hippie play or, something that would be found in like natural food markets, converting people using traditional, conventional beauty products, but giving them that same efficacy and formula and packaging that they're used to. So, we spent about a year in our San Francisco store, really listening to customers, seeing what brands they were resonating with, what worked, what didn't, what smelled weird on the shelf and didn't actually behave like we wanted it to. And then started to roll out stores after that.
And what's your footprint like now? So, for instance, you're in your brand new headquarters in San Francisco, which looks pretty cool. I think it's in an old railroad station or something. But tell us about what number of stores, online, what's going on?
Yeah. So fast forward over this, and you talked about the importance of clean beauty to customers. We're in a space right now where both the transparency of what we're doing, our brand positioning, and these amazing, innovative, efficacious products are out there now. We have 9 stores. We still believe in retail. Even in this COVID world, we know that experimentation with beauty, knowledge from sales associates that are trained in makeup and in skincare are incredibly important on this clean beauty journey. So 9 stores, about over half of our sales were in retail. We expect that to happen again in a new world. But we're really
So half in store, half online is what it was. Oh,
it was a little bit more than half retail. So we're about 60% retail, 40% online. Obviously, we are 97% online right now. We've started reopening stores for curbside pickup. So if you're in Chicago or San Francisco or LA or Texas, come visit us.
Didn't you just open the store in Chicago? I've been hearing good things. Didn't that open this week or something?
Yeah,
how do you open a store in the middle of this? This is
It's actually not so hard because as a beauty retailer, we had really high standards of sanitation and health and wellness going into this. I mean, that's our whole MO. And if you're already doing services in the store, pre-pandemic, people are actually worried about pink eye and crazy things like that. So we're ready. And it's not that big of a stretch for us to open these stores safely. We do no contact pickup right now. So you place your order, the sales associate, actually in Chicago, there's a little hook outside the door. They put it on the hook, you grab your order and you walk away. So we have very resilient customers, and transitioning back into this world will be different, but we don't think it's going to be impossible. And we know that our customers will come back. So,
I'm just writing an article for one of the trades about opening up stores. It's more about retail, but what they can learn from the beauty sector. So your footprints are kind of small. So yours is a perfect one. Cody was on a few weeks back about how they're helping salons open, whole different sets of issues in terms of no contact. But what are you putting in place to just make people more comfortable? The punchline of mine is there's going to be a transition. A lot of it, reality is people's reality. So some people are going to still be afraid, but they want to come see you.
Yeah. So before we get into the specifics of the retail, I was going to say one thing that we did that's been really successful is we partnered with a technology firm called Hero out of the UK. We've been doing it for almost 2 years now, where there's virtual consults online. It's basically the Uber app for sales associates. So when you go on our website, you're rerouted to one of our sales associates so they can actually work with you in a one-on-one way. Now, in a pre-pandemic world, that was successful. Now it's essential of this assisted selling. So that's been really important for getting people comfortable in an online world. And then Annie's done a ton of work about getting people comfortable in a new retail world.
Yeah, I think to Don's point, Hero or Credo Live, as we call it, has been integral to our success navigating through this pandemic. But the other great thing it's allowed us to do is keep our store teams employed. So we've redeployed our entire store teams towards Credo Live and keeping that connection going with our customers. So in terms of restarting our stores, it really is, to Don's point. I mean, I wouldn't say it's been easy, so to speak. It's just been work, but our team has been there. And throughout these, 11 weeks we've been in shelter in place, we've been able to do continuing education. They've been engaging with customers. There's some questions that they're able to network between themselves. So it's like that constant learning, engagement, and contact with our customers is ongoing. And then they just convert back into the stores. So we feel that we've been extremely lucky from that standpoint, that they've just continue to be very much in our community still, all day, every day, very engaged with our customer, versus, unfortunately for some companies, they've had to furlough and then, work back towards that, rehire people, all that. And then in terms of beauty and the shopping experience for the customer post COVID, or kind of our new normal, we started the reopening process in phases. So right now it's just curbside, so contactless. The next would be Chicago. Looks like it's going to be our first city to go into more of a limited capacity at the end of this month. And I think we'll learn a lot then, but our first step will be, not, for our associate to manage kind of the tester process. Of course, all the testers are replaced. We've taken a different approach now, and a more frequent hygiene and cleaning of the store throughout the day. But I do think, we're like optimistic, curious people, which are, entrepreneurs. And so I think once we got through the kind of, knockdown that the first week of this shutdown gave us, we kind of all woke up and felt very intrigued by the challenge of How do we figure out what the shopping experience is? How do we pivot quickly? And how do we make this a more engaging and positive experience for customers? If you think about it, beauty was due for a reboot. It really was.
Exactly.
And testers and kind of the old way of shopping really needed an uptick. So I think we're excited to kind of re-engage with our customers, hear what they're saying, and make changes as we go.
Yeah, we're seeing that
I was
at
gonna say,
oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
our Texas store, the first day we reopened, 5 people called for facials. So we weren't really ready to do that yet. We were still in curbside pickup, but
Yeah,
different
that was
country
me.
are, yeah, different parts of the country are reacting differently.
You could sneak in a haircut. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing that too. Revive obviously partners with the retailers and the beauty brands, and the in-store trend now, of course, is spiking where they want to take out the mirrors and the high-touch devices and just have people use their own, cell phone to do, skin diagnostics, virtual try-on. And it's interesting. Some brands are saying we are going to do that in self-serve. We're not bringing the beauty techs back or the BAs back. In other stores, large ones, they are planning on phasing them back in, but they're going to use technology so they don't have to actually come up and touch your face or whatever, but they can actually use your device, which consumers are very comfortable with taking selfies and getting an analysis on, and then like you do with your chat app, use that as a way to also keep the conversation going, before, during, and after they're in the store. So, what do you guys think about technology kind of actually helping the engagement in store?
We love it. And I will say one great thing about being a smaller beauty retailer is that we can beta test a lot of things, and we don't have legacy systems where it takes a long time. So we mentioned Credo Live or Hero. We are the
Yeah,
first beauty company to beta test that. We also work with another technology company around education for our sales associates called Miyagi. We've piloted a program called Clear for Me, which is a database of all of our ingredients for transparency. So it's great. We love this idea of taking technology that's based on your phone, whether it's for our sales associates, whether it's for our customers, whether it's a selling platform, and using it in the store. We did not invest in fancy iPads and technology in the store, and we're going to have customers use their own phones. It's
yeah.
safer now, but it's also more practical for a company our size.
Absolutely, especially as you expand. Yeah, most retailers are experiencing what I call a hardware hangover. I mean, over the last decade, they have invested so much money in technology and converting the legacy and all that. So you're well positioned. But let's go into what's on a lot of consumers' minds as we hear a lot about clean this and clean that. The data I presented was not quite universal. A lot of confusion out there. So, what's your message to consumers? I mean, if they're bombarded with things that say clean, but quite frankly, it's anything from food to cosmetics to healthcare product. Could be anything really. But in your sector, what's your advice?
Yeah, I think the one thing we can all agree on, no matter what retailer you talk to that is starting to invest in clean, Credo, of course, is based on clean. It is in a holistic way about safety, sourcing, sustainability, and how people are ethically running their businesses. I think the customer today is very different in the sense that corporate social responsibility is no longer a nice to have. She's expecting it.
Right.
And there's definitely more awareness in customers' minds that certain chemicals can be harmful to human health and the environment. So, clean beauty in a sense is all of those things with, under a lens of transparency. Like it's not okay anymore to, put a windmill on the box of your package, but then be manufacturing like, you're back in 1980. That's not
Right.
cool. And so what Credo's approach has always been was the way that we have learned information and has the space has evolved. We are serving that up to our customers online and through our sales associates in stores. That's why brick and mortar, to Dawn's point, is so important to us, because our customers do look at our staff as resources. They're estheticians and makeup artists that are very savvy about ingredients, skin physiology, and beauty products. So clean beauty, really, where people get kind of into the weeds, is what chemicals certain retailers include or exclude, or retailers that just don't say what their standards are. It's just, they just say we're clean and leave it at that. For
Right.
us, we have a very clear definition on our website of what clean is and what natural is, what green is, all these different terms that customers get confused by. We've put those on our website because there is no legal definition for these terms. So customers, as they want this information, can start to educate themselves. We introduced a standard. Our company was started on vetting brands against an ingredient list that, was very clear about what we restricted. But then
Didn't you invent the dirty list? It was like 2,700 ingredients on there or something.
We have our own dirty list.
Your own dirty. I love it.
There are other companies that have a restricted substance list. We have our own that does have 2,700 ingredients on it. But beyond that, we knew for clean to mean something, we really had to operationalize a standard and, have brands label products appropriately, not include marketing terminology in an ingredient deck, to really be more transparent about what's behind that word fragrance. So all of those things are in what we call our Credo Clean Standard. And that's very clearly laid out on our website, or if you were in a store, one of our clean beauty experts could explain that to you. But, I think in a general sense, the customer sentiment is one of, I want to buy something that's good for me. I want to make sure it's good for the planet. And I'm going to go to Credo because I know that work is done for me. That's kind of the norm.
Right.
There are people that like to dig in, and if they do, the information's out there for them.
In terms of setting up standards and things, does the government play a role here at all? I mean, the last I checked, there were about 1,300 or so banned ingredients in Europe, but in the States, there's under 20. So I'm not sure. Is the government helping here at all, or is it really up to the brands?
We're not holding our breath on that one.
Good answer. That's what I was expecting. So the FDA is not really helping much here.
Yeah, it's a very underregulated industry. The last cosmetics law was 82 years old. I think it's about a page and a half long. So, there's been several bills introduced over the year, none of which have ever made it to a vote. And, I think for us, some could say that we are self-regulating. We're creating standards that we think brands should live by today. I think no brand sets out to intentionally use harmful ingredients. They use them because they're cheap. And so, that's where, our brands have less economy of scale, but they're investing more heavily in ingredients that are good for you and good for the planet. They're very high performance, but they're more expensive. So we're trying to give them a platform from which to sell from. And, I think the positive part of that is, Beauty Counters created the Coalition Act, of which we're part of, where they're actually actively lobbying for more oversight in beauty. And we're proud to be a part of that. And, until then, we're going to keep doing the good work that we do.
I think it's important from a customer experience side. The approach we've taken is we will meet you with all the information you need. If you just need to know that we're a safe spot, that we've done the homework for you, that's okay too. That, there are different levels and appetite for this education. We have got the education, or you can just come in our stores and know we've done all the heavy lifting for you. And so we are trying to bring this to a mass market consumer. This is not a niche product. This is not a hippy dippy store. This is not just for people who know what ingredients they need or don't need. This is a safe space for you to learn. And we're not we're not strict about what you need to change over. If you want to start with your lipstick, great, we're there to meet you. And when you want to switch out another product, that's okay. We're here to help both our brands and the industry start to migrate to healthier, safer choices for the customers and the planet. We'll meet you where you need to go.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of the large brands struggle with that because what they're realizing is when we say, hey, use these tools for consumer engagement, what we also say is consumer engagement is not always shoving them into a shopping cart. So everything you just said, education, investigation. Tell me about how do people figure out what's real and what's not? Sometimes I read the package and I'm like, whoa, there's still a lot of ingredients here. How do I know it's clean and green and not on the dirty lists?
Yeah, well, nothing that is on our dirty list is going to be found at a Credo store.
Yeah, I'm
We do.
not worried about you guys.
Dawn mentioned Clear for Me. That's a way to help
Yep,
decipher ingredients. I think they indexed over 400,000 different ingredients. One ingredient can have 15 different synonyms, so it gets very confusing for customers.
exactly.
Um, so if they're interested and they want to dig deeper, there's definitions for all these different ingredients. Shea butter has a very long Latin name, and sometimes customers can look at that and be like, "Oh my God, I thought this was natural." And so,
Yeah,
that's again part of our clean beauty standard is using what's called INCI, the international nomenclature for cosmetic ingredients. So there's a standardization in which the names that people call ingredients, but
yep,
then you put it in English in parentheses, so people are like, oh, that really long scary looking word is really just shea butter. So we hope that it's really clear to people as they turn over the box and read the package. Of course, our staff is there to help them if they need it. Got Clear for Me on the website to help them decipher ingredients. But like I said, the average customer, like Dawn said, is like, hey, I ran out of my NARS lipstick and I want to replace it with something clean. I'm really intrigued by these brands and I want to try
right.
it. And it's really what it really comes down to is efficacy formula. And if the customer is now engaged with that brand because they no longer believe the misconception that clean beauty products can't be effective or on par with conventional beauty, because that's all changed. It's a different
Right.
ballgame now.
And you guys are really good at sourcing that. So let's just touch on supply chain before we wrap. Specifically, you've been really good at finding female founders. How many is it now that have, how many brands are you supporting now?
So we have about 130 brands. 90% of those are founded by a woman or run by a woman. Uh,
I think you call them badass women on the
We
website.
do call them badass women because they're super innovative and super great.
Yep.
If you look at conventional beauty, the statistic in terms of founders or female CEOs is going to be under 30%. So clean beauty is really a movement by women and largely for women
Yep.
who are worried about what they're putting on their bodies or their daughters or their babies, or they're pregnant, or maybe they're recovering from breast cancer. They have other concerns, and so they're trying to do a better job, but they don't want to give up their lipstick. They don't want to give up their mascara. Like, we just want cleaner, safer products. So they are pretty badass. We're really inspired by the brands that we bring into our store, and we love working with them.
I bet. So just can you touch on what you see, two things, future trends coming up, and what's the future of Credo looking like?
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
was like, that's a
Oh,
fun
yeah.
one. I was going to say world domination in clean beauty, I think.
Ah, drop the mic. We're done.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Credo was founded with the belief that there are better ways and products for people to use in the beauty industry. And while we are hugely optimistic about our own business and it's growing really quickly, we want to bring that platform to a wider audience. It's
Mhm.
important that we share this education and share these standards. You mentioned political action, whether it's political, whether it is consumer based just by supply and demand, we want the world to have access to more of these. We'd like to participate in that, but just like the organic food movement, we're hoping to spark a revolution in that direction.
Great.
And then what trends? Annie, give us some makeup and skincare trends.
Well, I think, a huge demand and a push from our side when you bring up supply chain is packaging. And
Hmm.
so for us, certainly we think we have made such huge strides in product formulation and formulating with better ingredients, and feel like labs are really hustling and meeting this demand, no longer thinking it's a niche and really like, oh God, this is a movement. I'm going to really lose market share if I don't act quickly. I feel like we've made great strides. I mean, it's changed so much in such a short period of time. Packaging is where we're really feeling a lot of tension now, because I think the brand founders that you mentioned, all these badasses out there, they have worked really, really hard to create great brands that stores like Credo and others have chosen. That's really hard to do. But the next step of that is really going 360 degrees and being more sustainably minded in terms of packaging. The packaging issue out there in the beauty space is egregious and horrendous, and we do need to take active steps now to fix that. So creating
Yeah.
more and more virgin plastic is not it's not the right move, and it's certainly not something Credo wants to support. So we'll be putting more energy and resources in terms of working with our brand partners for more sustainable packaging.
I love that. A lot of people just throw that comment out. I'm going to have the CEO of the largest packaging company on the, both food and health and beauty and stuff. I mean, some of the things I need a hacksaw to open the thing and might cut myself into doing it. So it's an important piece. Just last question. You made me think of it. We might need an NDA for this one, but do you always have to sell through your own retail channels, or do you see a future where you are this great platform source of bringing all this together? Are you thinking about, gee, where else could we be actually selling these products and services and exposing people on social media and other sites? Sorry.
Yeah. I would just think really broadly, whether that's private label, whether that's partnerships. Actually, this week we launched a partnership with Venus Williams yesterday,
Oh, nice.
which was clean, reef safe sunscreen. So look, we're innovators in this space. We work with innovative brands. We're trying to upend what the beauty industry is doing, both in ingredients and, as Annie mentioned, in packaging. Sure, we're going to look at lots of innovative stuff. So yeah, you'll have to have us back and we'll update you soon.
I think what we'll do is when I'm allowed to travel to San Francisco, which I used to do on a weekly basis, we'll come and do a live show at your place and maybe invite some of your badasses. That'd be awesome.
Great.
Would love it.
All right. Been listening to Annie and Dawn, an amazing company. Credo, keep an eye on them, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, lady.
Thank you.
Oh.
Bye.